Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my end of the year book tag. I'm so excited to make this video. I've been waiting for weeks. A lot of people were getting theirs out earlier in the month, but I wanted to wait a little bit longer just because I was still going to be reading books in December. I didn't want to make the video too soon and then read another 5 books this month, because then what if one of those, went into one of these questions that I'm about to share with y'all. So I do have a list of questions. There's either 22 or 23. There's probably 23, but this is the same tag that Destiny made and Sarah. And yeah, I'm just really excited to go through all of these. I'm gonna show y'all the physical book. I pulled them all off of my bookshelf to show y'all. And yeah, let's just get right into it so that this video is not literally 30 minutes long. So the first question is the most disappointing book of the year. And that was easily The Paris Apartment by Lucy. It's either Foley or Folly. I still don't know for sure, but this book I'll tell you why this was the most disappointing book to me. It has 8 different point of views in this book, and it was so confusing and just so... I hate books that switch back and forth that many times. The same with the guest list. I'm okay with 2 or 3 point of views, but that literally broke this book for me. Too many point of views can make or break a book for me, and that is what this did. I think I rated this book 2 or 3 stars. I hated it. It was not for me. The next one is what was an underdog book. So I'm taking this as what was a book that shouldn't have been as good as it was, or was unsuspecting, and that was The Wedding Ringer by Carrie Ray, I'm guessing is what it's called. I know that I still have the stickers on all of these books. I need to take them off. Okay, yeah, took the sticker off, but this book, I have never heard anyone talk about this book ever, but I found it at a Half Price Books and I read the back and it was so cute. Ended up reading it and I gave this 4 stars. It was actually so good. And I would recommend this to anyone. It's so cute. It's just about this girl who runs into another girl at a coffee shop, and she basically pretends to be her friend. She hires the girl she met to pretend to be her friend so that she can be her bridesmaid for her wedding, because she basically has no friends. And so it's basically a fake friend trope, which is weird. You hear of fake dating, but not fake friendship, and that's what this is. But it's really cute, and I've never heard anyone talk about it, but it was such a good book, and you should read it. The next one is what was an overhyped book that you read? Easily beach read. I've talked about this in a lot of videos. This book was not as good as everyone makes it out to be, and I'm not someone that hates on someone for loving a book, because I will fight for the fact that everyone has different book point of views. Someone could love a book and another person who is just like them could hate the book. Reading is such a universal experience, but for me, this was so overhyped. I was so excited to go into this book and I did not like it. I think I gave it 3 stars. It just was not for me. The next one is a book that surprised you, and that is, I'm taking this in a bad way. I could not think of a book that surprised me in a good way. Yeah, so I did it in a bad way, and that was 50 Shades of Grey. I love the movies, So I saw this and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna read it since, I know I love the movies. This was such a bad book. I was getting secondhand embarrassment from this book and getting the ick. It was so cringy and just, it's weird because Christian Grey in the movies is some hot, I don't know, I guess he kind of gives off creepy vibes in the movies too, but it's 10 times worse in the book. It was just not, this book surprised me at how bad it was. I thought it would be so good. I thought it'd be like the movies, but no. The next one is your favorite book couples of the year. Definitely Feyre and Rhysand. They're just perfect together. I cannot genuinely think of another couple that I just loved so much and rooted for, but yeah, definitely Feyre and Rhysand from the ACOTAR series. The next one is your favorite main character of the year. I have to say either Feyre or Selena from Throne of Glass. It is so hard to pick between... It's so hard to pick one or the other. I know a lot of people love Selena more because she has more character development and just she goes through more, but ACOTAR just holds such a special place in my heart. I can't just let go of Feyre like that and push her out for Selena. So they're tied. It's either Feyre from ACOTAR or Selena from the Throne of Glass series. The next one is your new favorite author you discovered this year. Guys, Sarah J. Maas. I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive, but that's just how it is. The next one is, what is the happiest book you read this year? This is the question that stumped me the most, because immediately what popped into my head was Happy Place, because it literally says happy in the name. But that book, there's sad parts in that book. So I was like, what is a book, like, was there a book that had nothing sad in it, no like drama, no conflict in it? Like, the only book that I could think of was A Court of Frost and Starlight. This is a little novella. It's like 200 something pages, but this is known as like the happy, like mellow, kind of like Christmassy book of the series. Like, nothing bad happens in this. There's no war. I feel like there was no fighting from what I remember. Like, when I think back on this book, I just think of happiness, because I'm pretty sure the winter solstice happened in this, and that's like their version of Christmas, and it was just such a happy, warm, cozy book. So, happiest one, Court of Frost and Starlight. The next one is the most frustrating book you read this year. Guys, I put 50 Shades of Grey again, because that book, like I said, just made me, I did not like it. Like, it made me mad how icky that book made me feel. Like, it was so bad compared to the movies, but I'm not gonna keep ranting about this. The next one is the best book adaptation of the year. The only book I could think of that really had an adaptation was The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna say this. I don't know if the first season came out last year. I think the first season came out last year and the second one came out this year, but still, like, I read the book this year. And yeah, the show is so good. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with this series. The next one is, what is the longest book you read this year? Definitely A Court of Silver Flames. Just holding this book again is making me realize I forgot how chunky it was. Like, this is like a solid brick. It is huge. It is, I think it's over 800. No, it's right under 800 pages. So this book was a big one. It took me a little bit to read, like a couple of weeks. And yeah, close to 800 pages was the biggest one. The next one is, what is the shortest book you read this year? A Court of Frost and Starlight. Like I said, it's a novella. It was like 200 something pages. The next one is your favorite cover of the year, and that one is easily Happy Place. The color of this book is such a unique color. Like, I don't have any other books that are, actually that's a lie. I do have other books that are this bright, but it's just like the imagery on it, like the illustrations, they're so cute. Like the people jumping in the water and in the tubes, and it is just the prettiest cover. Like, it is just the prettiest cover I've ever seen. I love, pink is already my favorite color, not this color pink, but it's just so cute and so unique compared to other books. The next one is a book that you haven't stopped thinking about. That is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is literally the best book I've ever read. Well, kind of. Compared to Queen of Shadows, it's very hard for me to pick between the two, but I'm just gonna have to say this, because this book was the first book that really, it's the first book that really took my heart. Like, I thought about this book. I still think about this book daily. I'm not even joking, guys. I think about this book every single day of my life in some way or the other. Like, I'll see a TikTok and then I'll think about it and I'm like, oh, I missed that book. Or I'll do something and I'm like, oh, I missed this. I love this book so much. So yeah, best book. The next one is the cringiest read of the year. I'm gonna try to not say 50 Shades of Grey. I'm gonna give y'all a different book, but 50 Shades of Grey should be right there. But it's Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. Guys, I love Lynn Painter, but this book was not it. It was not it. This was so YA cringy. Like, the banter in this book was so cringy. I literally almost put the book down multiple times because I was like, what are they talking about? What is this? They were making like sound effects and saying things that I feel like middle schoolers would say, but they're like in their 20s. And I cringed a lot in this book. The next one is an unpopular book that you loved, and that is The Overnight Guest. This is another book that I've never seen anyone talk about, at least on YouTube or like Book Talk or anything, but this book is so good. It is a thriller. It's about a girl getting trapped in a house in a snowstorm and weird stuff starts happening, and it was just, the plot twist at the end made my mouth hang open. I such a good book. I can't believe this doesn't have more hype on it, but y'all should go read this book. Maybe wait until like after summer, or I guess you could do it now because it does take place in a snowstorm, so I guess that makes sense. If it's snowing where you live, you should read this. The next one is the lowest rated on Goodreads and highest that I read, and do you agree with the ratings? So the lowest was the, funny enough, the lowest was the Xmas Holidays, which I literally just read like 2 weeks ago for the Christmas video. This is the lowest rated book on my shelf on Goodreads that I read, and it has a rating of 3.37, which isn't even that bad. Like 3.37 is not that bad, but I do agree because I rated this 3 stars. So it wasn't bad. I feel like 3 is the perfect rating for, it was just okay. Like it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It was there. It was just a book. But yeah, that was the lowest. The highest was A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, and for good reason. And this had a rating of 4.64, which is really good for Goodreads. So that's the lowest and highest. The next one is your favorite book quote of the year. Guys, y'all are literally gonna be so tired of me. Like, y'all probably already clicked out of this video because I'm about to say something from ACOTAR. And you're gonna be like, this was your favorite quote out of every single book you read this year? Yes, it was. And it's from A Court of Wings. It's from A Court of Wings and Ruin. And it's when Tamlin, towards the end, I think it was after he helped bring Rhys back to life, Tamlin looked at Feyre and said, "Be happy, Feyre." When I read that line, I'm pretty sure I cried. Like, why did he say that and have to... I am all for Tamlin redemption. I'm sorry, but I am. Like, he did some really, really bad things, but he also really helped them out in a time of need. And I don't know. Like, he'd have to have a really good comeback to where, like, I don't know. But I'm hoping for that in one of the next books. The next one is a book you read this year with the most unique concepts. I immediately thought of Then She Was Gone. If you don't know, this is a very dark book. It's about a girl who goes missing. I believe she's young. She's like 12, 13, maybe 14. And she goes missing. Come to find out, like years later, I think it's like 10 years later, the mom finds out that she was kidnapped by her former, I think, tutor. And her tutor kept her in her basement. And like, what is it called when, is it like inseminating someone? Where you like get them pregnant with like you put the thing inside of them? I don't want to like keep talking about this on camera, but that's what this book was about. She kidnapped her and got her pregnant and kept her alive in this like basement. It's a dark book, but it has the most unique concept. Like, I've never heard of that happening in another book. Like, obviously, like, there's kidnappings in other books and stuff, but this one was just very unique and odd. And that's all I'm going to say on this book. The next one is a book that you would... Oh my god. The whole book stack that I was collecting down here of the ones I've showed you just fell over. Okay, well, the next one is a book you read this year that you would reread. And I picked... There's a lot. And I would reread a lot of books that I've already told y'all about in this video, but I wanted to pick another book, and so I picked The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This was such a fun summer read. I remember I read a majority of this book outside on the patio. It was just so good. It's such a lighthearted, like, there is a little bit of conflict in this book, but it's so cute, and it was just the perfect summer read, so I'm hoping to reread this summer. Okay, the last two are not really book-related specific questions, but the next one is your Goodreads reading goal reflection and 2024 reading goal. So this was the first full year that I've read as an adult. And so when I set my goal for this year, I only put it at 24 books. I was like, that's only 2 books a month. Like, I can obviously do that. Yeah, I passed that like 6 months ago. So I actually read currently, we still have like 2 weeks left of December when I'm filming this, but I've read 45 books so far this year, which it's funny because looking at all these other booktubers who have read over 100 books, you know, even like 150, I'm like, why can't I do that? And it's because I have a full-time job outside of doing YouTube and reading. I don't know, it's a whole confusing thing. Like, I sometimes beat myself up for it, and then other times I'm like, don't beat yourself up. But so I think for next year, I'm gonna set my goal for 60. I think that's achievable. It's only 15 books more than what I've currently read this year. So I think I can easily do that. Like, if I can just read one more book a month, I can basically get there. So 60 books is going to be my 2024 reading goal. And then the last question is, what will you prioritize in your 2024 reading year? This one was hard to think about, but I put to read outside of my apartment more. I really only read on my couch or in bed, or I'll sometimes read on my patio. We have like a little swinging chair, but I don't go out there too much, and I'm always inside, and I want to get out more. We have, I don't know if anyone knows, but I live in Austin, and we have a giant park called Zilker Park, and it's like, I describe it as like a smaller Central Park, but it's just a big, like, huge, it's still huge, but everyone can go and like do picnics and just like sit on the grass, and I want to do that this year. Go sit there, have a drink, and just read. But yeah, that was all of my questions. I don't know how long this video is. I guess I'll find out in a minute. I feel like it's 30 minutes, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below. This is what I want y'all to comment. What was your all-time favorite book that you read this year? I would love to hear what y'all read, and it might also give me ideas for what I can read in 2024, but I really want to know if any of y'all agree with any of my, please don't be mean to me in the comments, but let me know if you agree with any of my choices for these questions. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think this is going to be the last video that I put up before Christmas, so if you're still watching this far in, have a Merry Christmas, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.